FX presents the Indu Podcast with your host, T. Sterling Watson.
Oops. Nope, that's not what I want. Happy New Year, Nubians. I'm T. Sterling Watson.
Happy New Year, and I'm Kortney.
Oh, wow. We got a song out of you, too. Well, wow.
Sorry, did I throw you off?
A little bit, but in a good way, because I was excited.
Okay.
But this is the Indu Podcast. You're listening to the Indu Podcast. Thank you for stopping by and pressing play. We're recording live from the south side of Little New Indubia on the corner of T'Chaka and MLK Drive. And again, thank you for stopping by and pressing play. And Happy New Year yet again. Happy New Year, Kortney. How are you?
Happy New Year, Sterling. I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm healthy. We haven't spoken since last year. In fact, we haven't had like a real podcast episode since our good friends over at the Black Guy Who Tips podcast came to visit us.
It feels like it's been a whole 5 years since I've talked to you and caught up and done the pod with you. So I'm very excited to be hearing your little voice today and talking on the pod. It's just exciting.
Right. I mean, because let's face it, and we've actually discussed this before we started recording, how life just happens. So like the last episode, that's also why this episode is late. But the last time we were going to record, we both just life was happening. Plus, it was right before Christmas. We even had a guest who was all set and ready to go, but she'll be with us. I think maybe next episode. I have not put that in the books officially yet, but we'll get to it. We'll get her. Right. And prior to that, I did a crossover episode. I think I did a Love Blurs episode, and it was our highest rated episode so far for that podcast. And I think it mostly is just the title alone. So I really need to make sure that I think of some really good titles that'll catch people's attention, and maybe they'll click on it like, what is this about? Because that one was titled It's Penis Time. So yeah.
Oh, was that the actual title?
That was the title of that episode. So I made it the title of, that last Indube episode, which is basically just an episode replayed. So I haven't gone back to look at the stats since to see if it had that same kind of effect, because maybe it's just something about the word penis that could just get like,
obviously. What? I'm interested. I want to listen to that episode now.
I know. And then once you find out
before.
Right. And I think the thing about it is I actually told the story already on this podcast, and I just went into further detail on that podcast, which so either way, go check it out, dear listener. In the meantime, yes, I am good. I am healthy now because over this whole holiday season, I was able to get a Christmas break, a Christmas COVID break. And yes, that is also the name of the last episode of the Love Blurs podcast, because I caught the Rona as my lovely son was so excited to say, "You got the coronavirus." So I'm like, oh my God. So and it gave me flashbacks, and it's funny, like once you have kids, whether they're your own or they're bonus children, that they just kind of give you memories of how you were as a kid, and you just want to start apologizing to your parents, your older siblings, like, I'm so sorry, because I did this similar thing to my own father. One time we were coming home from an amusement park, and I don't know, he must have eaten something, and then he had gas and was just feeling miserable. Yet for me, my little old, probably 6 or 7 year old self, this was a song. And one of the just most irritating things, and I'm irritated at my younger version because I can just hear myself through my own son now saying, "Daddy's got gas," and just taunting, and like, oh. And I mean, right now, I feel like just calling him up right now. I'm so sorry.
Apologizing. Yeah.
Yes.
I've heard that is exactly what happens when you have children, or you acquire them in whatever way you acquire them. That your own misdeeds as a child come back to haunt you through your own children. So maybe this was just God's way of saying, Sterling, I got you. I got you.
I hope so. And I really do hope that this child just grows up to become something great. He has to. He has so much personality and so much just character that I need it to flourish and blossom into something that will make me money. So yeah, that's
Also, you're just gonna exploit your child.
I'll be his manager.
Oh, his dadager. Is that a thing? Or no, that's not a thing.
It's not a thing.
Probably not a thing. Okay.
It sounds clunky, but hey, we're gonna move into some words. And by the way, yes, COVID, it was an experience. I think maybe I'll save it for Love Blur. No, go listen to the Love Blurs episode because I talk all about how I felt through it. I will say this now, you will hear a lot of coughing, mostly from my wife, but because I gave it to her apparently, and then the kid had it too. So I mean, we thought he had it before, but apparently I must have picked it up at work. Apparently, I have no idea.
So you're the one to blame. Got it.
I'm not blaming me. I'm blaming the people I was around because they must have had it and they were being unsafe and being all maskless and carefree and willy-nilly, just showing chins and lips and everything. So I'm like, excuse me, ma'am and sirs, peoples, all of you. Actually, it was all men. I'm thinking
that sounds right.
Yeah, because the women that I work with, they're pretty smart. Like I haven't seen the bottoms of their faces except for this one woman just the other day. She was we're walking opposite directions in the hallway, and all of a sudden she's like putting her mask on, and I mean she's had it on. She was doing whatever adjustments you do, because you're human.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, her mask just just snapped off, like because you're still adjusting it. All of a sudden it just like snapped off and she's like, ooh. And
bam.
I know, and I looked away because I felt like I was looking at something I shouldn't have seen. Like, oh no. I felt ashamed. And it was just a weird thing. And I also realized like, wow, I've never actually seen the rest of your face before. So
wow.
I know.
That long, or she just is
private,
or what's the deal?
She started working there after
during the COVID.
Yeah, during. So I've never seen her whole face, and then seeing it, then I felt like I saw something I wasn't supposed to. So I was trying to be a gentleman, and I looked away. So I didn't see
she would appreciate that. That's very nice of you.
And I know because she also had that kind of like response, but I think it was I know, but it was more so I guess maybe just her trying to. I was like, oh, my mask fell off. Let me put that back. But still, it just seems so inappropriate. Like, I'm so sorry. I apologize. Let me continue walking. Okay, we didn't see that happen. Have a good morning. Have a good morning. Good morning.
Right. Good day with you.
Yeah. Right. So, saying all that because I'm trying to get back to the word of dadager. I forgot what you said, but I'm trying to get to the word watch. You did? I don't like it, even though it's in my head now. It's in my head.
Now, the more you say it, not me, but the more you say it, the more I'm like, I don't know if dadager is gonna work.
I don't think so. It sounds like some kind of, I don't know, rodent beast that's supposed to be a superhero or
no, a rodent beast though.
I don't know. I can't like I see it, but it's very cheesy, whatever it is. Not cheesy in the word in the sense of actual literal cheese, but
cheese, because cheesy is good, but not cheesy.
Right. So I'm thinking like maybe some kind of rat avenger now, and maybe his symbol is cheese, but he's called dadager. I don't know.
Lord have mercy.
Because I see the word danger. The word danger is in there.
Oh, okay. Except it's not. I mean, I think you're hearing it, but it's not actually in there. Like like dadager doesn't actually spell danger.
It doesn't.
I think they're just making that up, but
a little bit. It's the duh and the jur that I'm hearing or seeing in my mental my mind prism.
Your mind's eye.
Yes.
Your mind prism.
The word I'm trying to get to though is today's word watch, and I don't have my soundboard open today, so word watch, and the word is syzygy.
Because that can't be a real word.
And that's exactly what I thought, and I think the show I got it from might have been Mr. Mayor, I think, and they said They even said it too. It's like that can't be a real word.
Yeah,
if it was that show. But it is a real word. Syzygy,
Nope.
spelled SYZYGY.
That's not a real word.
It's a real word. It is a word, and you're gonna like this word. You're gonna change your whole world's conception based on this word that you think is not a real word.
It's not a real word.
It is a noun.
But okay. Nope.
It is okay. I'm marking the time and the date. It is 7:44 Eastern time. Thursday, January 6th, 2022.
Okay.
A conjunction or opposition, especially of the moon with the sun.
What? No, what?
The planets were aligned in syzygy.
See, no, no. I rebuke it. It's not a real word
you
still.
Flipped at 7:45.
I hate it. I hate everything about it. It's wrong. It's made up. And no.
A second definition could be a pair of connected or corresponding things, like the moon and the sun.
Connected or corresponding things.
A pair, though. A pair of connected or corresponding things.
Okay. Not just random things like that happen to find themselves together.
I mean, the moon and the sun. We don't have to explore too much more beyond that, unless you want to find more things. Peanut butter and jelly, perhaps.
Okay,
they have a certain syzygy with it. Yeah.
Syzygy.
Syzygizing. Okay, I'm going to hurt myself.
You are. You're going to pull a muscle there.
To pull a muscle by the tongue. It's good. It's too much. But there is syzygy.
You can't even say
it's
it.
there.
Look at you.
I said it. You heard it.
Okay, fine.
It's syzygy.
Fine.
So, yes.
Fine.
That is the word. Use it at will, please. Use it as much as you can.
Whatever.
Now that you know it's a word, and like the word next to it, like the noun, it fits into astronomy. That's why I'm like, you're going to change your viewpoint on your acceptance of this word. And I'm hoping that you did. Reluctantly, it sounds like.
Very reluctantly.
I hear you growling.
I'm growling, yeah.
Just accept it. Now, that is the only segment that we are going to do in this episode, because there was like a lot that we had to cover because we've been gone for so long. And I mean, I think I did stockpile a number of Florida don'ts. So that'll have to wait till next episode, which will be fun because we'll hopefully have a guest and they can play along.
And it's always fun with guests, so I can whoop them.
You did pretty well, but
I did, right?
What? You did, and it's just I'd never thought it would. I didn't expect it to be as much fun as it was, and I'm glad I was keeping score and keeping track. I'm like, oh, okay. Everybody kind of like trying to not necessarily talk each other out of answers, but like just rationalizing.
Rationalizing, justifying our answers, and then the other people, had to kind of rethink their own answers. It was great.
It was fun. I liked it, and I'm glad that they had fun too. And that is going to happen more often. Then I will make sure that I keep up to date with all of my news, which I tried to do anyway. And because sometimes it just you just know, and other times like, is it though? Is it Florida? We'll see. But today we are going to just kind of look back at 2021, and I figured let's look at like all of the films, the TV shows. I did write down albums, and I think I really only have I got 8. It's TV shows. I have a list of 4, but it's really 9. And there's probably more shows, but I'm trying to stick to things that came out in 2021 and not things that I started watching in 2021.
Okay. That's kind of hard.
It is. And I'm pretty sure we might kind of overlap a little bit on some things. Like maybe it came out in 2020, because I almost included a couple albums that came out in 2020, but I didn't really listen to until last year. So I'm trying to be good and behave by the rules that I set for myself. So
good. I will hold you accountable to that.
now we will start with films, and
Okay.
I'm going to come out of the gate saying that I left off two pretty hyped up films that once I've viewed them and I had some time to think about them and sit with them, that I didn't really feel needed to be on my best of 2021 list.
Ooh, okay. Let's hear it.
Now, I know you and we have a very strong appreciation and love, and I think it's one of the things that bonded us early in our friendship is the Matrix franchise.
Yes.
So
Watch
that
your
is why
mouth.
I'm not first let me
I don't know.
preface by
Okay.
saying I did not dislike the Matrix Resurrections.
So, but also let me preface by saying I haven't seen it yet. I don't want to hear any slander against me, okay? Because I haven't seen it.
I
But
was
I
like
do want to
perking
say,
up my lips too, not
I
necessarily
know
to slander you, just to be
you're
like,
about to fix your mouth to slander, and I need you to, not, because I just haven't. So now that that's out there, watch what you say, because I also, don't want any spoilers, please and thank you.
I will say it's the thought that we had, I think, when we were both excited when we heard like, oh, they're coming back, they're doing another one. Like, although I think we also said, but do we need another one though?
Yes, we both did say that.
And I'm back to that. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. Oh, was it not good? You didn't like it? Oh no.
No. It's not that I didn't like it. I'm just like, was this needed? Did we need this?
So I saw an article, and it was like, basically it was from Tor.com, which is, they do publications and stuff like that, but they also talk about pop culture, and they talk about movies and TV shows that are coming out and stuff. And so this one was about the new movie, and it was basically saying how, I think one of the Wachowski siblings didn't want to have anything to do with this installment because they had finished the story, and then I think it was Laura. I forget their names, but one of the Wachowski
Laura and Lily
sisters.
But I don't remember what
it was. Okay, so it was Laura. I think it was Laura.
Lana. Oops, I need to check. Sorry.
Maybe it's Lana. It's not Lily. You're right. I think it's Lana and Lily. So anyway, one of the Wachowski sisters decided that they wanted to be part of it so they could kind of control the story and control, how it was told and that sort of thing. I respect that. But I'm just like, so they didn't have anything to do with this resurrection, and here we are. What is up with that? But I couldn't read it because I haven't seen the movie. And that's all I have to say about it, because that's all I can say about it.
And then once you do see it, we'll come back and we'll reconvene, and we'll have a whole episode dedicated to it, supposedly. And as we just kind of talk our way through it, we did talk a little bit on the Love Blurs podcast, but not too much, because I'm not sure. I don't remember. I don't think Ashley went to sleep on that one. She did fall asleep on Don't Look Up, which is on my list of 2021 films. But I mean, we'll just move on and go through the list, because we'll get back to the Matrix. The first movie I wrote down was the one that I feel it had a whole lot of buildup, and it delivered on that buildup. We're not going to get into spoilers here, but Spider-Man No Way Home. And I'm just going to say it had that experience that I had, like top 3 Marvel. Wow. Oh, wait, no, top 4 Marvel cinematic experiences. Like, you're in the theater. Yes.
Wow. Did you see it in the theater?
I did. And fortunately, I got to have one of those experiences with you when we went to go see Infinity War.
Endgame. Oh, was it Infinity? It was Infinity War.
Yeah.
Okay, not Endgame. That's
right. Endgame I saw with my sister, as well as I think what takes the 4th spot for me for Marvel specific experiences in the theater is Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay, nice.
Because of how that how that ends and ties into Endgame, or Infinity War. because the hush over the crowd was intense. I loved it. Like did that whereas as a
right.
cut to black with the spinning top, and then you just hear the silence and also the gasps in the crowd. I loved it.
Like, oh no, what does this mean?
Right. Just But yes, Spider-Man No Way Home had several moments of just reactions from similar to Endgame. So I want to say maybe number 2 in that list of just experiences, but still the movie itself was great, and I can't wait to watch it again. And I can wait till it comes out on some kind of streaming platform somewhere, which I think might not happen. I don't know, because of legal contracts.
I need them to listen. I need them to get over that, because that's the issue that I'm running into right now. Is like I'm having to go through other means to watch the first 2 before I can see the third, and I need them to really get their lives together and get over that. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying, also be careful, because Sony might be like, you want a streaming service? So yeah, we don't.
Ugh, please, no more. For the love of God, no more.
Moving on, Shang-Chi is the only other Marvel movie that I felt was deserving of this list. So that sounds like I'm giving slight to Black Widow and Eternals. I liked Black Widow, but not enough that I would put on this list. And Eternals is a film.
And that is all we'll say about that. It is in fact a film that they paid money to make and charge for.
I won't be that mean. It is a very pretty film to look at. It's got a nice story. It's very different from what we're used to for Marvel films.
Okay.
So I don't hate it. I really don't.
You know, they went that route when they, now granted, like when they went that route for their TV shows, I feel like most of the shows have kind of a different feel, but you still know it's Marvel. It's in the MCU, it's from Marvel Studios, and you just know. So you're saying that Eternals doesn't fit that same standard, doesn't fit that same model, or what?
It is different. I'm trying to figure out, like, I thought I had a comparison for it, and I might have had one before, even when I gave the review with Ashley before, but I can't remember what I said and what I compared it to. But it's got its Marvel fingerprints on it, but it's definitely a whole different flavor of movie. So
interesting. Okay.
Which I'm okay with,
a bad
because
flavor, like an earwax flavor.
I wouldn't say it's a bad flavor. It's a very
different flavor.
Right. It's like if National Geographic had superheroes.
Oh, that doesn't sound appealing.
It may not necessarily sound appealing, but if you like watch it and you really like just immerse yourself in the film, you see, because what I'm thinking about is just all of the landscapes and all the places they went all over the world.
Okay,
so
sure.
It's in that way, that's where I'm pulling the National Geographic part from, but it's also superheroes, because all these people have powers and they're all doing crazy things, and they're telling a story. There is a story there. I just didn't feel as like engaged or excited, like, all right, where does this fit into the whole pantheon of other
timeline?
Right, which I'm sure it does, and it will, and it's setting another bar. It's setting like another corner or pocket of this universe, Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it's another pocket of it, so we can always go back into this area, I guess, similar to how Guardians of the Galaxy was like taking a gamble. Like, we don't know who these people are, let's go on this ride. But
but I don't know, with Guardians it was different. It was very different, but it also followed the kind of code, if you will, of or like you said it best, the fingerprint of the MCU, and just the quality of work that it produces. So I don't know, that makes me not really excited to see Eternals, because I still haven't seen that one.
And the thing about it is, the closer it came to coming out, the less I was excited to see it, and then I finally did see it, and I'm like, okay, I saw it. So
like that happened.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So I mean, it was there, and then we moved on, and
happened.
That happened.
Yeah.
So yeah. So we'll move on from there. And Don't Look Up is the next movie I wrote down. And I was trying not to go on movies that I had just seen, but I mean, this just came out comparison to everything else. And I had looked up a list of like, okay, I need movies that are in 2021 because I can't remember everything that came out. And that was the first one there. I was like, okay.
It's been a whole 5 years.
It truly has. And but this one I really liked, and I know you saw it as well. You did see it. Yeah.
I did. I liked it. Really liked it.
And it's a commentary for those who haven't seen it, not really sure what it's about, but a satire, and like the best example of a satire I've seen in a long time. And I'll generalize it and say it's more how government doesn't, or even society may not necessarily take science as seriously as it should. And I actually have heard other people say compared it to the pandemic, which I know you first said. I was thinking more climate change, but all of that seems to apply. So
that's my initial perception and intake of it was about the pandemic. I can definitely see how it applies to climate change as well. I just feel like it's more it speaks more to the pandemic because of how people were reacting in the movie versus in real life. And it was very, very similar in that it embodied how a satire embodies the thing that it's satiring, you know? It was very on the nose, very, very poignant, very specific, you know?
And at times a little dark, but in a good way, because I mean,
very dark. It is a dark movie. It's a dark
comedy.
Dark comedy, but it drove its point home to me. I mean, it's not for everybody, just like most satire is not for everybody. But you know, I enjoyed it and lost maybe a little bit of sleep over it, but only because of oh god, this could happen for real.
Oh wow, poor thing. I'm sorry. I mean, I thought you were gonna say you lost a couple tears or something, but that was just me.
Probably too. I maybe shed a couple thug tears at the end, you know.
It gets a little real. The next movie we've already discussed, so we're not going to go into great detail about it. So you have to go back into one of our special episodes, also on Patreon. But The Harder They Fall, definitely a film I was looking for, waiting for. It was anticipated, and it delivered. So,
oh my gosh, I need to go through my second and third rewatch. I have not rewatched the whole thing. I've just like watched certain scenes, and I'm ready.
I haven't rewatched it yet because normally I'm around watching things with Ashley, and she is not as big of a fan of it, only because of the violence. So I haven't really watched it with her or watched it a second time because I'm normally with her. So, but I will get around to it. My next film, I actually put two of them together. They are definitely two different films, but I combined them for a very specific reason, which I will explain shortly. The first movie is Ron's Gone Wrong.
Okay.
The second movie is The Mitchells and the Machines.
Okay, now, I've heard of the second one.
Now, the first one you can find on Disney Plus as well as I think HBO Max and Hulu. So that's interesting. But I combined both of them because they both deal with technology and the families trying to or technology that's kind of gone awry, and the protagonist having to either work with it or work against it to make the world a better place. Generalizing it a little bit too much, but there are definitely some themes such as like both of them almost are kind of like satire again for Facebook, I'll say. More so Ron's Gone Wrong because it incorporates Facebook, Apple, and I think they even mentioned Elon Musk, like because of his technical prowess. But and I haven't watched Mitchells and the Machines in a while, but I really did enjoy it when I did watch it. But that's Ron's Gone Wrong gave me that thought in kind of almost flavor of that movie because of the themes that I'm trying to convey. But the animation is beautiful in the Mitchells and the Machines. And around the same time I watched Ron's Gone Wrong, I also did watch Encanto, but it's not on my list. Not because it's not good. It is good. I just didn't include it on my list. That animation is also just gorgeous. So
Yeah.
we discussed before we started recording, you were going to watch it. You're going to wait for your little kitties and whatnot.
Yeah.
But go ahead and watch it by yourself first, because I feel like you're going to shed some more.
I'll get more
tears
out of it.
You'll,
I'm sure I will.
Yeah, you're going to do
like
that.
Yeah, just the clips that I've been seeing, I'm like, okay, so I know the hits already, and I'm seeing like the characters, and I just, I'm ready for it. So I may have to, you're right, I think I need to watch it without the kitties, and then I can just enjoy it myself, and then pretend like I've never seen it when I watch it with them. It's all good.
And the story is predictable, but not in a bad way. Like I'm not upset about it. So I knew where I was going, I think, by the trailer. So yeah,
I'm good with that.
So speaking of
Lin-Manuel, by the way, so
yeah. Speaking of him, In the Heights is next on my list.
Okay, gotcha.
That was a fun theater experience. I mean, it wasn't like, crazy people dancing in the aisles or anything, but it was just good to see on the big screen. I think it was the second time I was in the theater. The first time was F9 for the Fast Saga. That is the other movie that I was kind of alluding to having a big hype about. And while, yes, it was exciting to see it, it really didn't leave that lasting impression on me, because I'm like, okay, that just kind of checked off that box, and I'm ready for the next one, supposedly the last one.
Supposedly, we'll see. I don't know.
Right. I think they're already doing that thing that you hate and making the last one into two. So.
No.
Yes. But yes, In the Heights is great. I loved it, and I say we, but Ashley and I will still kind of sing random lines to each other from the song or from the movie or the musical, whatever. So it's got a lasting effect, and it's one that it's definitely got that rewatchability to it, and just really delivers on the summer feel, and just it's good. I like it.
Nice.
And moving into a documentary, speaking of summer, Summer of Soul by Questlove is a documentary that's almost like a must, I would say, especially if you love music, if you love history of like soul music, and what it's about. What it's about is I think it's even the same summer of Woodstock, but out in, I want to say, I think it's Harlem. For several weeks they have like a series of soul concerts, and all of it was recorded and meant to be televised. It never was. Those tapes got lost. Questlove found them, because I mean, he's good at that.
Yes,
and
he does.
Restored them, and even brought back some of the people that were there, and it's great. It's amazing. I definitely recommend it wholeheartedly. And that reminds me of the other documentary I was trying to think of, which I think came out this year. Let me check, because I'm trying to stick by my rules. So, I mean, do you have anything on your list as I do this quick research real quick?
You put me on the spot.
I know.
See, I don't know. I've watched a lot of good stuff this year. I just don't know what actually came out this year, because I have a talent of like waiting for several years to watch hits and watch things that are super popular. So everything that I watched this year, I couldn't tell you, other than the Tiger King's sequel. I know that came out this year, and it was not as good. It was about Doc Antle instead of what's his name, Joe Exotic. And so that came out this year. It was not as good as the first, but it was just as spicy, I'll tell you that. And so I don't know that is necessarily a best of type thing. I think it's just one of the first things that came to mind. So we'll just leave it at that. Okay.
I did check, and the thing I wanted to mention, I only watched this year, but it came out in 2020. So I will keep that to myself.
Okay, darn it. I do want to know. So maybe like
the last blockbuster.
Oh, yes. Yes. Good
and
one.
Then I think what I also mentioned is that, and I might have mentioned on this podcast, but it'll make a great double feature if you watch the last blockbuster, or rather, no, watch the Orange Years, which is a Nickelodeon documentary, like it's about Nickelodeon, and then watch the last blockbuster. So
Mm,
if you really want to get into your nostalgia feels, in fact, I think I
I
talked about that
do.
on when the Rod and Karen were here. So yeah, I mentioned it
I
then.
think so. Yeah.
It's like I knew it sounded familiar.
Nice.
So moving on to the holiday spirit, 8-Bit Christmas came out on HBO Max, and it was a very charming Christmas movie. I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
It was
Nice.
nice. It definitely had that vibe of A Christmas Story.
Okay.
I don't know what year that came out, but it's always on TNN or TNT, where they play it like for 24 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was never a fan of that movie, and
I never actually seen the whole movie. I've seen the play, but I still haven't seen the movie. And I fell asleep on the play, so that happened.
well, I
I'm
will
not a
say,
fan.
it sounds like you're not, and that's okay because I don't care for it either, and I don't understand the appeal of it unless maybe
Yeah,
it's
I
just
don't
for
get
that
it.
nostalgia feeling.
I don't get it. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but 8-Bit Christmas is in that vein, but I think it's definitely for us, like for our generation. So
Sure. Yeah.
So I say that as a high recommendation. So even after
Nice.
this holiday season is over, which technically more or less, depending on if you still have your Christmas tree up or not, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but go watch it anyway.
Yeah.
Going back earlier in 2021, where I wish I went to the movies to see, is Godzilla versus Kong.
Ooh, was that in 2020?
It was in 2021.
I mean, 2021?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Because I forgot.
You're right. Oh my
it was
gosh,
like one
it
of the
was.
first movies I watched. Well, it wasn't the first movie I watched here in my apartment, but it was when HBO Max was still figuring out their whole like same day
everything.
deal where same in the theater or same date. We're playing it in the theater and we're playing it on our streaming service. So I'm like,
Well, and
okay.
trying to figure out their UI on their app. Ugh. I think they're still trying to figure out, but you know.
Fortunately, I missed that one because I never really had a problem with how their user interface worked, at least on my TV. Everything was fine. Oh, wait, I take it back.
Like it was sloppy. That's all, you know. What are you taking back?
Their UI, but I'm trying to think now. If I think yes, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of what is it? Peacock. They had an issue too.
Oh my God, they still have issues. What are you talking about?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. But yes, I do remember because I think I had to like backload it or something, HBO Max within my TV because it wasn't on Prime yet, like or Fire. You couldn't get on any Fire devices. So yes, I do remember now.
Yeah, garbage.
But it's
Back
fine
then.
now.
It's better. Yeah, it's better now. But at the beginning, Lord.
Well,
terrible,
I do have
terrible.
3 more, so let me get through this because we still have like other mediums we have to get to. The Suicide Squad. Now I have to put the in there because there is Suicide Squad, but the Suicide Squad, which I also want to rewatch and still have not yet done, and it was better than what I expected it to be. It was great. It was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Very violent, but whatever. Yes, and Mortal Kombat, which also came out early in 2021.
You're right. Okay.
That was just fun. Like it was one of the few video game movies done very well.
Yeah, so, I thought it was done okay for a video game movie, but I didn't love it. It was one of the better ones, but I also forgot about it. Like I forgot it came out in 2021.
I did too, but I think once I pulled it up or I saw, I was like, oh yeah, I do remember. Like I remembered like specific fight scenes more so than the movie itself, but it was enough to get me excited and talking about it. So
yeah, I agree.
So for me, that's why it made the list. I'm like, okay, I had fun watching this, and I mean, I'm just thinking still of the dude's hat who just became a razor blade and he just chopped up people with it. I'm like, that's awesome.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Keep doing that. Thank you.
Yes, more of that. And the last movie I have on my list here, which I don't think we've talked about on the pod at all or the other one, but a little film, I think it's only available on Netflix, called Kate.
Okay.
It stars Mary Elizabeth Winstead. which
Okay.
whom I've had like a minor, I'll say a minor crush on since I've seen her in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And I just kind of keep seeing her pop up in things like, hey, how you doing? And she's also been in Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Life of Harley Quinn or something like that. Whatever. Whatever the title is. She's in that movie. And kind of almost as if her character is expanding from that, but it has nothing to do with it. In this movie, Kate, she is an assassin and she's been poisoned and she has to go find who poisoned her. But she also has this little kid that she has to kind of bring along with her.
Oh, wow.
Because I think she knows who poisoned her or can identify him. And she also has to protect her and all this stuff. It is very similar to another movie, which I'm now remembering that I did not have on my list. And I believe came out this year. So I might be able to include it. Yes, it did come out this year. Gunpowder Milkshake.
Oh, which I haven't seen yet. Nice.
Again, this makes a great double feature. If you want to watch the both of them back to back, I would recommend that. And one movie that one definitely is on Netflix. Gunpowder Milkshake. The other movie, Kate, I'm not sure, it might be on HBO Max, but I'm checking right now. And I will mention this movie just so you steer clear of it. Okay, it is on Netflix.
Kate is on Netflix?
Yes, Kate is on Netflix. Okay. So Kate and Gunpowder Milkshake. Right. Because they both have this vibe of female assassin, just we're going out and we also have this little kid we have to protect.
Yeah.
It's I almost want kids. I'll throw out John Wick. It's not in the same universe, but it has that same kind of energy, which I love. It's great. As well as a little bit of Crank in there too, for those that remember way back in early 2000, I think. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
A little bit. Not as crazy as that movie is, but yeah, all of these movies, they live together in this cluster in my head. Now, the movie I want to mention that did come out also in 2021 that you should avoid after mentioning Kate and Gunpowder Milkshake, avoid the movie Jolt, because that is also a female-led, I don't think she's an assassin, but she ends up having to keep getting like shocked like in her chest in order to like keep her from raging out too much that she'll kill somebody. But yeah, she goes through like some kind of psychological trauma, and that kind of keeps her at bay. Somebody had actually took her bay, and then she wants to go on a revenge rampage and kill everybody. But yeah, I think it was trying too hard, because I remember talking to Ashley about it, who was watching it with me, and then she fell asleep. And it was avoid that one. Just stick with Kate in the milkshake. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Do you want to move to music now?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go.
I decided to write down the albums rather than like just artists, because I could be here all night and I'm not going to do that. And in fact, I'll probably just have to put my own like playlist that Spotify made me. And I feel it's pretty accurate, but albums in no order, just like the movies, they weren't in any order. I was just trying to find all the full albums that I actually listened to, except for two. The last two I did not listen to, so I'll go backwards. King's Disease 2 from Nas. I listened to most of the album. Or did I listen to all of it? I don't know. There's only really one song that I really, really like, and that is the one where Miss Lauryn Hill makes a feature.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I mean, and that was my second draw. The first draw was the song Ultra Black, which is a song that just still gets me hyped, especially if I'm already kind of feeling in a mood, or maybe I'm feeling tired, or I'm feeling annoyed at work. I'm like, you know what? I'm Black and I'm loving it, and let me just put on my Ultra Black, because I gotta get my mind right. So thank you, Nas, for that, because that is an anthem that I can only play for myself. I can't play in the car like with a kid, because
not with the child. No.
No. The next one, I haven't listened to the entire album, but I just love the concept of the two of them working together making an album, and that's Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. I never knew how to say his last name.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know either.
But I haven't listened to the whole album, like I said, but I do like the music that they make together as well as separately. I'm definitely an Anderson fan. That is for certain. So they're fun. They're fun. So I will eventually listen to the whole thing. The Harder They Fall, I enjoyed that soundtrack.
Yes.
Yes. Have you listened to it since?
Not all the way through. I've listened to most of it, but not all the way through. But I've loved what I've heard so far, and so that's like I love it so much and believe in it so much. I can say yes, that album needs to be on this list.
And there's like one song in particular, I can't remember the name, but it's, I don't know, like one of those. It's not necessarily a posse record because I don't know how many people have to be on the track for it to be considered that, but it's got Jadakiss, this other rapper, I've already forgotten his name, but he's still kind of new, and Jay-Z and somebody else. But that I think is one of my favorite songs on there. And it's, again, another song I can't necessarily listen to with Ken in the car, but there is a audio clip from the movie that I have to play before the song plays. Because the way it just rolls into it. It's like, yes, I'm ready. I think it's called Gorilla Rhythm, I think. And Jadakiss always sounds like he needs a throat lozenge or something.
But that's his brand, you know.
That is his brand, but he also talks that way too. Because
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's part of who he is as an artist. He has that raspy, you know, like he's got something stuck in his throat, and it works for him.
I don't know. I just need him to be just one time. And then all of a sudden,
you're asking.
I am Jadakiss. Sorry, it just much clearer.
Nope, you're asking for too much.
I think so. Like, I've been watching Queens. I know we didn't get into TV yet, but I have been watching Queens. It's not going to make the list, but Jadakiss is on the show, I think, as a fictionalized version of himself. And that's, for me, when I really started to notice, like, wow, he really needs to clear his throat. Like, doesn't he? Just give him a glass of water, something. I mean, he's great. I love him. But just the raspiness was just crazy. Next on my list, because I'm going backwards, and you know that I stand for her. I stand for this woman. She's beautiful. She sings amazingly. She's a fantastic songwriter. And I feel like nobody knows who she is. You thought I was picking up somebody else, didn't you?
I want to know who it is. Who did you say?
Kirby.
Kirby?
Kirby. That's why. Yeah, and I know. And because I felt like people were thinking I was thinking of somebody else, the way I was kind of baiting them up just now. But no, Kirby, she came out with an album called Sis, He Wasn't the One.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that alone should just be like,
I love that. Yeah.
What's she talking
very
about?
Intriguing. Right. Super intriguing. I love it.
This is the follow-up album, because the first one came out in 2020. It's just called Sis, period.
Okay. All right, cool.
And I mean, she's just sitting in a chair, getting her hair done.
Yeah.
Just having this look on her face like, sis. And then for this album, she's like sprawled out in the bed. I think there's a man in the bed. I'm like, who's that man? Get that man out of that bed. Because I'm like, it's Kirby, but it's, I don't know. But it is
get that man out that bed.
it is really good. There's there's too many tracks for me to even list that I really like. And I think too many that I had like on replay that none of them actually came up for me on my Spotify rundown or whatever. So but I go hard in the paint for her. I'm upset that I missed my chance to I didn't miss my chance. I just don't have the monies to go see her in concert because she is touring with one of my other favorite artists who did not come out with an album last year. Like, let me double check. Let me just double check, because I don't think it came out last year. I think it came out in 2020. And survey says, yep, it's 2020. Okay. But she is touring with John Legend. So
nice.
That would have been
huge for her, I bet.
Yeah. It would have been a great show to attend, but I do not have the funds to go attend it this time. But what I want for her is to blow up. I really do, because she deserves. because she's written some amazing songs for some amazing people, as well as just some great songs for her stuff. Like, I mean, songs for herself. So go through her entire catalog. And Kortney, I can send you like a handful of songs later that like just listen. Just listen to her coo to your ear. Okay, moving on. This one would be controversial because he's a controversial person. But, and I talked about it before, and I liked it. I'm going to stand on that. And it's for me, I'm going to separate the artist from the person. But I liked the album Donda from Kanye West. So the deluxe also came out like just a few weeks ago, which has that leaked track that has Andre 3000 on it. So that was awesome to hear him rap again. But hey, I like the album as it is, like the entirety of it. And yeah, that's all I got to say. I'm sticking by it. The album, not necessarily the person. The person is keep him in your prayers.
Gotcha.
This next one, a lot of hype has happened, and I'm pretty sure some more awards will be thrown his way. And it's Montero by Lil Nas X. Yay!
I'm glad to hear this album on your list because it's the one that I've listened to all the way through.
me as well. I'm like, well, let me see what else he's got. I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah,
it's definitely like each song is a different, like just a vibe or even a flavor, even a genre.
Yeah, different genre. I just love him as an artist. I mean, from what he shares as of himself as a person, I really like. So I'm happy for this album too.
This next one, I feel might be, I don't know what word I would use because I, and Berto, that was a weird way to say that.
Yes, very weird, but I understood. I'm sure your audience did too.
Yes, the three of us, we've discussed this next person, and I feel like caping is too strong of a word, but I was defending her.
Okay.
And I still stand in that defense because she's a pretty great artist, her and her brother, who does, I believe, most of the writing for her.
Billie Eilish, is that what you're about to say?
That's what I'm about to say, yes. So, it took me a while. It took me a while to actually listen to the album itself. But I finally did, I think it was like in December. So it had come out like months before that. But I'm like, okay, all right, this is good. And I gotta say, I think I like this album more than her first one.
Okay.
Because her first one felt like it definitely had a more grungier kind of just, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It just had a different vibe to it. And this one has a kind of a softer vibe. Yet she's still kind of, or maybe both of her and maybe and brother, I don't know. But there's a different thing that they're still trying to express, and it still feels like, hey, we've got, this thing is bothering me. I have to talk about it, or I'm talking about the success that I've kind of living through now and how it's affecting my life. Very similar in a way to Montero, because he talks about that too in some of his songs.
He does. Yeah.
So
I can only imagine that, having to go through that as a young person too. Or as any person, not just a young person, but just from nobody to fame so quickly. That's gotta like mess with you a little bit in negative ways, positive and negative ways.
Right. And I would say for the both of them too, because I think they actually met each other, and there's like some picture out there of them meeting and them hanging out. Like, oh, look at that. Just
that's so people. Cute. Little babies.
And it's interesting how the last track of both of their albums is, I think, my favorite song for both.
Yeah, okay. Good to know.
And I'm saying that when I don't even remember what the last track is called on Montero. I just know it ends and then there's like water splashing.
That's right.
So I'm just imagining it's like it's
okay,
cinematic in that way. So I'm like, are you must be a merman going back into the sea or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I can dig it.
I'm not sure if it's that the one with Miley Cyrus that he does, but
I don't think that's the last song. I think there is one song that's not his last song that's not with her. I can't remember. I know the one with her is like one of the last songs, if not the last one. I can't remember.
But I definitely know it's the last one because I'll hear that part. I'm like, if only this part wasn't there, so I can just move on to the next song already. It just has that ending feeling. Like I feel like I just like, okay, stop all the music because he's gone. Like the music's over. Like the album is done. So
okay, so the last song of Montero or Lil Nas X, sorry, the album is Montero, is the one with Miley Cyrus.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. What is the name of it?
It's called Am I Dreaming?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think that sounds about right. Yeah. Because even when it comes up sometimes in like the daily playlist for me of music that I've already listened to, I also have to be in the mood for it, because I know it's not a bummer. It's just a very slow, low tempo kind of song.
Very mellow song.
Very mellow, yeah. Man, I'm like, if I'm just starting my day, I don't really need to be mellow right now.
Right. Need something hype, crunk, you know.
I need ultra black. So yeah.
Exactly. Right. Ultra black. I love that. Yeah.
So same thing with Happier Than Ever. The last song there is called Male Fantasy, but it's got that thing about her voice where I just love, where it just kind of just floats. Like she just has this way of singing about her. And as I had told you and Berto, I've been listening to her since, I mean, she's already young, but she was much younger than what she is. And she came out with a song called Ocean Eyes. But there is a version of it or a remix of it, which I think is maybe the more popular version. And what's been interesting is over the years, I've been seeing a lot of known artists actually covering that song, such as like Alicia Keys did a version.
That's cool.
I forgot some other people that did it too. But for me, that was the first time I heard of her. And like, interesting. So she's been around for a while. And but this album, I quite liked it, quite enjoyed it, especially the last song. So yeah. My last album is none other than Adele.
Obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had been waiting, and definitely my favorite song, I will say, which I did say before with the previous episode, but can I get it? And yes you can, ma'am. Yes.
yes you can.
Which I say every time it comes on in the radio in the car, and Ashley's there, and I keep saying yes, and she just rolls her eyes at me.
As she should.
I mean, she's asking.
She is asking.
Can I get it right now? And I'm like, yeah.
Yes, you can. Come on, stop asking. I said yes already.
Right. You're pleading. I yes. So lastly, we must do TV shows, and I'm going to get 3 of them out of the way. Dope Sick on Hulu.
Okay.
It's a heavy watch. I'm going to say that. So pace yourself if you're going to watch it, but it's really good. It's about the opioid crisis, specifically Oxycontin. If you want a primer, I would say watch episode 1 of The Crime of the Century on HBO Max, because it's almost like another episode of that series, if not the series being an expansion of that documentary. So it even explains what Dope Sick is, which is really interesting, because I'm like, why is it called that? But it's what happens if you're on opioids, but then you can't get your fix. And it's
that makes sense.
Yeah. It's a hard watch, but I feel it's worth it because it's still ongoing. It's still something happening today.
Like today. Yeah.
So that's one. Okay. The next one is Only Murders in the Building, also on Hulu.
Oh, yes. So it's Selena Gomez and Martin Short and somebody else.
Steve Martin.
So close.
Terrible.
I know.
But it's so great seeing the 2 of them work together. But Selena Gomez really just fits in very well with the 3 of them, as they are trying to figure out not only who murdered somebody in the building, but there's all these other criminal activity things happening also. And it's as they try to figure out each other and learn all the other residents in the building. And they got picked up for a season 2. So that's great.
Oh, nice.
Because it also ends on a cliffhanger. So of course it's going to have a season 2. Or should have a season 2.
Right.
I do feel like there are more shows I should be discussing, like on some of the other streaming services, but I can't exactly pinpoint what they are at this point. But I will say Invincible on Amazon Prime was quite the show. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Into that one. No, because I wanted to get into it because that's a superhero show, right?
It is.
Well,
Yes.
the super people show. I don't know if they're heroes, but so I heard about it and I thought it was very interesting. But then I heard about it some more, and I was like, maybe this isn't for me. So that's kind of where I left it.
I will say I think you can handle it because it's I want to say go for it.
Well, here's the thing. I saw one clip of an episode, right? I saw a clip of an episode, and it stayed with me in not the good ways, right?
Okay.
Like,
yeah, I see.
I was like, oh, maybe this show isn't for me. I don't know.
And let me say this too. It is not for the faint of heart. It's not for children.
That's it.
It is pretty violent.
Yeah.
So
it is.
got so excited.
I saw the one where the girl and the guy were holding hands, and it was a very loving scene, and then she was no more. And that's all I'll say about that. And I said, I don't know if this show is really for me. Maybe I misjudged it a little bit.
I mean, there is. I mean, the one of the main characters of the show is pretty violent, and I mean, the show itself is violent, and it's interesting.
But the main guy, who is normally like not the villain in these kinds of shows, seems to be the villain.
Yeah, and what's interesting is the parallel that you can draw to a show like The Boys, and I think this was like one of the first episodes of the Lovebirds where Ashley and I actually sat down and talk about not only this show, Invincible, The Boys, specifically the most recent season, and a show that I purposely left off the list. Once I even saw that, I was like, oh yeah, that did come out this year. I forgot about it. There's a reason why I forgot about it. It's called Jupiter's Legacy. Did you forget about it? You didn't even hear about it,
I forgot about it. No, I didn't even hear about it. Yeah, what's that one about?
It's another superhero show, I think was it from Netflix? I don't know. It wasn't all that good because we didn't forget. We forgot about it.
You forgot about it, yeah.
And we watched it and like, okay, it was
like that happened.
It was one of those that happened, and that's a show, but like at least Eternals I liked.
Did you like it though?
I did. Overall, like if I had to compare between Jupiter's Legacy and Eternals, yes, I liked Eternals.
Okay.
Jupiter's Legacy, it exists.
And that did happen. They made it. It does exist. It happened, and that's all we'll say about it.
There was effort. The
Maybe
payoff
was,
effort,
but there was effort.
But Invincible, and of course, The Boys, but Invincible is there. Now, the elephant or elephants in the room come from Disney Plus, and I was figuring out my rating system for them, and I think I have figured it out as I'm writing the numbers down next to them as I go backwards, because they came out with 5 shows. Disney Plus. I'm talking about Marvel specifically. Sorry, because I know they came out with other shows, Disney Plus, because they're just a juggernaut over there. And sorry, just making my final notations now. Okay, yeah, then we'll go there. Now, I will preface yet again saying I liked all of these shows. I enjoy them. So please do not think that because the first show I'm going to mention being number 5 is bad or I didn't like it. It's just compared to all the other things that I had to watch or that I did watch and enjoyed, the level of enjoyment shifts and varies based on Marvel properties. So The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is number 5 for me, but I did enjoy it. I can't stress that enough. I liked it. It's just very difficult to put this in this list because each of them are their own flavor. Just like as we were talking about before about the Marvel movies themselves, they're all different and bring something different to it. However, the one that compares most to it would be Hawkeye, which is number 4. And again, I really liked Hawkeye too because hey, we got what's his face back? Wow, why am I blanking? Kingpin. Fisk.
Oh yes.
He's the best version of Wilson Fisk I've seen.
Oh my god, I love him. I was surprised to see him also. I don't know much about Hawkeye. Now I know more, but now before I was like, oh, okay, Fisk, okay.
Now you did you watch Daredevil, like the series?
Of course
Okay,
I did. Yes.
I'm just making
Of course
sure.
I did.
Just making
Yes,
sure.
I did.
Yes. So I was
Amazing.
just so great just to see him back, and I was just so excited.
I know.
So yeah, he's there, and then Yelena, you got to meet her, or Yelena. So
Elena, not Yelena.
Yelena.
It's Elena, I thought.
I thought it was Yelena. Oh, well, either way,
I
you
don't
met
know.
her. You met her.
I met her though. Yeah.
And although you first meet her in Black Widow, which I don't know if you've seen yet.
Nope.
Okay.
Sure haven't.
I'm just saying, we're just gonna gloss over that some more. And
Nope.
we're gonna go to
Yep.
number 3. We're just gonna move on to number 3.
Okay.
The What If series,
Mhm.
which
Mhm.
what was that?
I
No?
got to maybe episode 2, so it wasn't doing it for me, and I kind of gave up. Maybe too soon. I admit that. Maybe too soon.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
You gave up too soon, and I'm gonna
Okay.
tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why without spoiling too much, because
without judgment, hopefully.
Well, it's
A
more
little
so
judgment.
a little bit judgment, but it's also going to prep you for what's to come. Because
that's what I've heard. Yes.
Yeah, because initially it was kind of sold as a series that like each episode was not going to be connected, but apparently like they're just like, we're just kidding, because I mean it's Marvel, they're always going to kind of like misdirect you, and it's more connected than you think it is, and it may even connect into possibly the next Doctor Strange movie.
What? Oh my god. Okay, fine.
So with that said, you have some more homework you need to do and watch the series and be like, oh, okay, I misjudged this. And
no, I didn't misjudge it. It just wasn't capturing my attention,
Okay.
At first, I'll give it a second shot. I'm not above that,
Because
I'm
definitely
really not.
the last 2 episodes, I think the last 2, as well as I think it might have been episode 4, which is I think a Doctor Strange themed episode. So, but that itself, and I have to point you back again to the Love Blurs podcast where we talked about each episode and which ones we liked more than others, and yeah, it's definitely yes. So that's a number 3, a strong number 3.
Okay, all right.
Now my last 2, it was difficult, and I will explain to you how I got to my reasoning. Number 2, I'm giving to WandaVision. So
yes, okay, I'll take that. I loved it. So
it was the first one, and I do want to go back and revisit it. I have to do it on my own because Ashley already told me she's not interested in going back to watch it again. But because in it really set the bar for like these new versions or these new MCU TV. Wow, that's a lot of letters. Because it was the first one that came out, so everyone wasn't sure what to expect. And it was great though. So because it was great. So it's great for all what it is. I love the climax, and I mean, I developed an appreciation for Catherine Hahn. I'm like, I didn't realize I'm attracted to you now. Okay, great. I also loved Elizabeth Olsen's, or rather the Scarlet Witch's like costume. Like, I didn't realize I was attracted to that. Thanks. So there's that too. Which then leaves us with Loki taking the number 1 spot.
Yes. Okay. Respect.
The reason why is because it does delve a little bit into timey-wimey, a little bit of that. But it has to be because of the last episode, and we meet the great Jonathan Majors, who is just taking over.
Yes. He's taking over all the things as he should. He's getting his flowers as he should. Everything about him. Yes, please. More. Thank you, sir. Keep doing your thing. You're amazing.
And I was thinking I was going to rewatch the whole series, but I think I might just rewatch just that episode, because I think that's really what it is I want to watch. But it's also just the buildup and getting there.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we meet all these variants too. We get to kind of see with that world or other, just the concept of the multiverse before we actually see the multiverse and how it's infecting all the other things within the MCU. And it's just so like, it is the one of these shows that definitely just made you geek out so hard because you just didn't know what was going to come next. And then when you did see it, I'm like,
Yep.
oh my God, they're doing it. It's happening.
They're doing the thing. Yep.
Mhm.
I agree.
So
I agree.
Loki did that for me. So
Yes. I didn't expect Loki to be so good. I really didn't expect Loki. I didn't expect much out of Loki just because I didn't know what it was about. I saw no trailers. I just kind of went in cold. I knew Tom Hiddleston was coming back as Loki, and that's it. And then I knew that what's her name? Ugh,
the lady who played Sylvie?
no.
Oh,
Not
Gugu
Sylvie. Google, yeah.
Yes.
Her and what's his
Mambatha?
name?
I can't say her
Google
name.
and what's his name?
Owen Wilson,
Owen Wilson. Yeah.
who always has that face.
Names.
It's just like,
Oh, he always has that face, right? So
wow.
I knew they were gonna be in it. Yes. So I knew they were gonna be in it too. So I was like, okay, well, I'm sold. Also, Marvel, I'm gonna eat it up.
Which they all did a really great. I mean, all of them did a really great job.
Oh my gosh, yes, they all just played their part. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do this weekend. So thank you. But just rewatch the whole series. But it was only 6 episodes or so anyway. So I'm gonna watch the show.
And What If, because What If is also very short too, with short episodes. It's worth it. It's worth it. I hear your pause, your
listen,
your hesitations.
I'm gonna do the thing. It's fine.
You'll thank me. You will thank me. You will thank me.
That's what you say.
And then you're gonna be like, you know what? You're right. Because what was that last thing you watched? And you texted me. I was like, yeah, okay.
Hawkeye.
Yes. See, I'm trying to help you. You know that.
You're right. Listen. I'll give you your flowers when they're due to you. So, yeah,
when they're due.
So, well, not just when they're due. You know what I mean.
Now, if there's any other shows or albums or movies that I haven't mentioned, but definitely stood out to you from this past year, I'll even say artists. So it's not just,
So I think you pretty much covered it, and nothing really else stands out to me. I'm sure after we stop recording, I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I should have said." But like right now, I think we have a pretty comprehensive list going. I think it's good. I agree with most of it. Some of it, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I can guess what a few of those were, but yeah.
But for the most part, I agree with what you're saying, and what you're dishing out. So.
Because there's definitely a lot, like even especially in the movie category, there's a lot of movies that I've seen I just didn't mention because they didn't either I liked them, but it wasn't enough for me to like talk about them, and I didn't want to go at length as to why, even though I did that for some of them already. And there's also just a lot of movies that came out that I just haven't had the chance to see yet, and I still want to. And Oscar season is around the corner. I don't know if we're going to do an Oscar special, but I might just do a recap or just do the guessing and then see where we land. But because I mean, I know we've discussed a certain person who plays Princess Diana and her being in the running and that whole situation. But and I'm just saying for a movie that I did enjoy, actually 2 of them, who I don't know what it would be nominated for, but Being the Ricardos was a good movie. Not something that's really sticking with me because, like I said, the title just went away. But I don't know. It might get maybe a Best Actress, maybe a Best Actor, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe Best Writing because of Aaron Sorkin. The other one being what I just like. The last movie I watched was what is it? The Fabulous Life of Tammy Faye. I forgot what it's called. It just came out on HBO Max recently. And that one I definitely feel Best Actress for the star of that film, whose name I am looking up because I just had a total blank. And it's The Eyes of Tammy Faye. There it is. That's the name of the movie. And the actress playing Tammy Faye is Jessica Chastain. Okay. I remember that. So yeah, I nominate her for Best Actress.
Nice.
Will she win? I don't know. Hopefully, we'll see.
You know if there's going to be any awards this season or anything like that?
I do not know, and I know you're asking because of what happened with the Grammys recently. And
Yeah.
they have been, and this is the first time I've heard language like this. They said they are postponed indefinitely. So I'm like,
Oh, wow.
wow. To
Wow.
which I responded on Twitter. I'm like, virtual shows, award shows do exist, as do remote performances. And I mean, just look at, I think it might have been last year's, I think it might have been the BET Awards. And they did a really good job with their award show being remote and what's the other word I'm looking for? Just virtual, basically. So
Right.
it can be done. And I know the Grammys are mostly just performances anyway these days. So
yeah, I mean, might as well do it in a safe space and just broadcast it. I mean,
yeah,
it's 2022. We can do it. Yeah.
Right. There are ways to do these things. So there's that. I don't know about the Oscars. I haven't heard anything about that yet, but I think in the next few weeks, the nominations should be coming out. And I really have no idea like who the front runners are. I haven't really looked at it in that light, but I'm sure there's buzz. There's definitely buzz. There's buzz every year for every film. So
all the things. Yeah.
All the things. But you can rest assured that I will be nerding it up and letting all of y'all know what I'm pulling for and what I'm thinking might win. And yeah, and the other word, and it's not necessarily a word watch, but this has nothing to do with anything. It's just time sensitive. There is a snowstorm impending here in the New England region. There was one that just happened. God bless all the people that were affected by it. Like seriously, because it was rough. Didn't affect me because normally that happens in Connecticut, but it didn't happen here this time. This particular storm, but a new term, because it feels like every few years they come out with some new weather term. Like I remember when what is it, the polar vortex that happened? Like, what the stank is that? And that sounds terrifying.
I remember that.
Yeah, and it was actually very, very terrifying. Well, not terrifying, but it was very cold. Like I felt like the sky opened up and then we just got the cold air from space. Oh, I know they don't have air, but I know it's very cold in space. But
right.
Like, it's like the atmosphere left Earth and then we were just blanketed by,
like on our own. Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrifying. So the new term that I learned is bomb cyclone.
What?
Yes.
I don't know that one.
Neither did I. And I got like a news alert today that the first bomb cyclone of 2022 will be hitting like New England. I'm like, wait, what the stink is a bomb cyclone? So Google tells me, to put it simply, a bomb cyclone is the speedy deepening of a low pressure area within the atmosphere. So to be considered a bomb cyclone, the area must deepen by at least 22 millibars within 24 hours. In other words, it just means that the temperature drops like very, very quickly.
A lot.
There's like a lot of wind that comes around it, the pressure dropping, and it becomes very stormy. So
that makes sense.
Yes. Terrifying.
It sounds terrifying. I hate it. Thanks.
And I keep kind of joking and saying the thing that will terrify me the most would be like tornadic snowstorms.
Yes.
I mean, thunder snow is already one of those terms where just thunder snow. I know I've said it before, but it's got that to it. Like,
right. Yeah.
Like that gets me excited, like, ultra black. So, but yeah, I guess maybe the opposite, be ultra white. Anyway, I don't know if tornadoes would be possible in such a snowstorm like this, or a bomb cyclone. And that'd be a question I'd ask to people smarter than me. So I just had to get that in there because that was just something that was very interesting to me. And what this show is all about, just me talking about things that interest me, I nerd out about. And sometimes it is weather that I nerd out about.
I mean, weather is pretty cool. And it does affect your day to day. So I get it.
Definitely. So Kortney Quinta Hinton, do you have any? I know we just talked about a whole bunch of things that we watched, consumed, and all that stuff. One book recommendation, not recommendation, because Two books. Oh my God, Nubia and the Amazons, written by our good friend Stephanie Williams. And I don't have the other book title in front of me. Where is my Audible? Because it's there, and I might have to read it again or have it read to me, as my wife would like to. The Disordered Cosmos. Both of those came out last year. So those are my top 2021 books. That was difficult. Yes.
You did it though.
Yes. But yes, do you have any recommendations or anything of that matter you want people to check out other than what we discussed?
Does it have to be from 2021?
It does not.
Good, because I don't know nothing. Like, I don't know when nothing came out. Nope, not my forte. So I would have to suggest, I feel like I've talked about this show a little bit before, but Selling Sunset is a good one. It's a reality show. It's pretty good, but it's also kind of trash TV depending on your mood or the episode that day. So that's always good. There's also a spinoff of Selling Tampa, where it's basically like the Black version of Selling Sunset, where it's got like a Black cast. It's got Black realtors from an all Black, all female firm, real estate firm. So it's very different, very interesting. I don't know if I love it as much as Selling Sunset, but it is still good watching. I have been really a crap reader on books this year, so I cannot recommend any. I've been reading, but none of them like pop up as man, y'all should read this. So I'm hoping to do better this year though.
I do too. I want to give out a shout out to Shannon Miller, who she had tweeted something that really resonated with me, something not that I'm going to adopt what she's doing. I just like the idea of it, but she had tweeted that she's going to each week, she's going to watch one film, she's going to watch one series, read one book, and read one and listen to one album, and just all different genres and different tastes, just to, and I really liked that thought and that idea. I'm like, I would love to do that or something similar to it. And I'm like, okay, well, why can't I just start now? So I did start a book. So I've started a book that was not recommended to me personally, but just one that I've heard about from a few different podcasters, called It Never Ends, written by, or it's a memoir by Tom Sharpling, who I didn't realize I was actually familiar with, because he is one of the writers on the TV show Monk, as well as the voice of Greg Universe from the hit animated series Steven Universe, playing his father.
Nice. Yeah, so cool.
And what I didn't know is that he is like a radio talk show host. So he discusses like his early days in radio, how he got into radio. So I'm like, let me find out more about this guy. So as I'm listening to it, so yeah, it's been a great read so far. And I think it did come out last year. I think either way, it's what I'm reading now. I don't want to say it's a full recommendation yet. In fact, I will say what I am currently watching is we started watching Succession, because I felt, I need some kind of fantasy of something that I know that I'm not a part of. I'm not a part of this world. Let me just go escapism. That's what I'm looking for. Something that I can't truly relate to is all these rich white people and the drama that they get into. So
different level.
Different level. And my goodness, these people are messed up. And we're only like 3 episodes in. So we're watching that. We're also watching The Flight Attendant. Both of these are on HBO Max. So, and that got picked up for a second season. So I'm trying to catch up now. And that's just a twisty mystery murder, but comedy a little bit. So, but drama. So it's everything. So all those things. So I guess that's my recommendation. Question mark. Yeah. So where can people find you if you want to be found?
Well, people can find me on the Twitters at I am K Hinton, where I, not so often these days, but when I do tweet, I'll tweet about good food, bad food, good junk food, good healthy food, and not just food in general. I like food. I like to eat.
Right. And I haven't really been on Twitter that much either, but that's still my social media of choice. And yeah, and I did forget, what are you grateful for this day?
I am grateful for my family. I'm grateful for health. I am grateful for a job that provides steady income and just all of those things, really. The simple things.
That's good.
I don't need much, so I'm grateful for all those things.
Good. And those are really great things to have, especially if sometimes one of those things might go or just be shifted in such a way where it's uncomfortable or in jeopardy of being lost. So I get it, and I am also grateful for those things. Not that I'm piggybacking on yours, but yeah, I feel you. I'm grateful for having child-free weekends or just weeknights.
Oh man, yes, that too.
that was a surprising turn of events for today because of the bomb cyclone that's happening tomorrow. So yes, it's nice. It's also why I'm able to record a little later, and it's still quiet. I don't have to tuck anybody in, but I'm thankful for that. And you can find me on all things at Indoob. Go to indoob.com to find the podcast, as well as the store, the Patreon, and I don't even know if there's a link for Lovebirds over there. I know we mentioned them quite a bit, but do search for it. It's on all the places you can get podcasts. Please tell your friends about this podcast. And by the way, on Spotify, you can now give us a 5-star rating. So please give us a 5-star rating on Spotify, as well as, wherever else you listen to, if they have ratings. Thank you so much. I don't have my script for the actual sign off because I should have it memorized by now, but I do not. So don't forget that gravity is existing. That's not how it goes. It's been
Gravity does in fact exist, so I'm grateful for that.
Oh yes, it does exist. If I've been your benevolent host, T. Sterling Watson. And remember, if the world didn't suck, that's what I like to say, we'd all fall off. All right. So I forgot like a little tidbit that I meant to bring up in the show earlier.
Okay.
So this is like an exclusive, like, what is it? Extended cut? I don't know. But you included, watched the 20th anniversary or reunion of Harry Potter.
Yes, I'm watching it. It's not done yet.
Oh, you're not done? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Though. No, but go ahead.
What I really wanted to discuss though is I wanted to shame somebody, a friend. So I won't say their name, but they were under the impression that this was a new Harry Potter film, like movie starring the people, like 20 years later. It's not what it was at all. No. And I was like, I'm so sorry you were misinformed, but no. So
not even a little bit.
Because what happened was they were at home. They saw it come on. In fact, they got HBO Max just so they could watch this.
Oh no.
And then they put it on, and then they started like fast forwarding, looking for where the movie was going to start. And it never did. Now other people were coming in the room saying, when's the movie going to start? And it never did. So because of that reason, they hate it.
That doesn't seem fair.
I felt so bad. I'm like, I'm so sorry. And me, I am just, I feel I'm a casual Harry Potter fan. I'm not like, into it like you are and Ashley is. So, but I love that you love it, kind of thing. So
I love it.
So
it made me cry. This not movie, but reunion episode, or it's not an episode. I don't know. This just a reunion special. Yes,
right.
It was very good.
You're not alone. Ashley was crying too. Like I handed her a couple tissues, and she was kind of emotional for a little while. So I just
It's
gave her
just so good.
gave her some time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think what broke her was like some of the other actors also crying. I don't know if you probably haven't gotten there yet, but
not really. I
yeah.
figured it was going to happen. Though.
Yeah. And I mean, also seeing my wife grow up, my ex-wife rather, Emma Watson. So it was special for me too. So because we had to keep all that under wraps, and I knew what was happening behind the scenes, and hearing her have a crush on Tom Felton, it hurt a little bit, but I knew we knew there was an understanding.
Everybody has a crush on him, though. Come on.
Well, it doesn't make it any better, but still, it's just something we had to come to accept and just move on. And we are where we are. We are people. So, yeah. You will continue to watch it and enjoy it, I'm sure. Ashley has. Yes. I enjoyed it for what it was. I'm like, good. This is cool. And it was good. It was good. But yeah, just had to come back and throw that in there. And all right.
That's worth it. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the Indu podcast, which was recorded from the south side of Wakanda in Little New Indubia on the corner of T'Chaka and MLK Drive, and is part of the Indube Network. Want more Indube? Follow on Instagram and Twitter @Indube and on Facebook @InduPod. You can contact us and send Ask Indube questions by emailing indupod@gmail.com. Want to support or donate? Find the TeePublic Store or become a patron on Patreon, where subscribing gives you perks and extra things from the Indube Network. Please subscribe, rate, comment, and share the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, Podbean, and wherever else podcasts are found. And of course, visit Indube.com for all of this and much more. Thank you so much for letting us entertain, enlighten, and provide an auditory escape with knowledge and nonsense. Until next time.
Use your words, Chief. Good boy.
This has been another 3SFX production.